Howdy, yo. The old Guardsmanom here, without the beard. Just pretty much came to my attention a couple of days ago that some internet YouTubers, which also happen to be a couple of American citizens who are right here in California, not too far from where I used to live in LA, they were being, we'll say, bullied through corporate bullying by a set of folks, and I'm not getting into whoever the hell that was. It's just a situation of this should never ever happen to anybody. So, for the last several days, up to a week, I have been scrambling like crazy, both doing my own, stuff that I have to do in order to keep things going, and making videos for y'all. And then on top of that, I have been highly involved in this MXR plays situation. Now, a lot of folks will say, "Oh, well, that's the entire internet," but the internet's made up of all of us. So, you're saying? Anyways, so the situation is that some folks from a particular media company, I'm not going to say anything on it because those folks, because they still their company still exists, which a lot of folks see as a problem, but I'm not going to get into because everybody has a right to free enterprise. It's one of the beautiful things about my country. That's why I love it. That's why I'd be willing to die for it. But I'd rather make the other guy die first. That's why these colors are red, not yellow. That's a joke, by the way. These colors don't run, and you pick on one of us, well, son, you've picked on all of us. Situation is, don't step on one guy's dick unless you want the whole damn crowd. That's a situation that we had on our hands. So, some fellers who are actual lawyers here on the interwebs, they got involved as well. Made their own little opinions and whatnot, but it got the ball rolling. It was a big thing. Also, there's a thing where not a lot of folks recognize this, but U.S. Minutemen, we are across the country, we're nationwide, and we handle every problem as if it was a personal issue. Also, at the same time, we handle so many problems that most folks go, "Oh, well, no, it's not possible. There's no way that, these guys could be in every single situation in every single place." Well, that's why they call us Minutemen. We are supposed to be ready in a minute, ready for days. It's the way this works. We all come together, we unite. It's a big thing. It's a big thing for how our country runs. And see, this is the kind of thing that I've been asking for us to get about, like, with the 2A movement, because while we all might have different political leanings, something that this country was founded on was the fact that every human being has the right to defend themselves. And if that means that they have to utilize violence to do so, then they must have the means to do so. And that is their right. So, when it comes down to things just as simple as like a media dispute, okay, great. It's a dispute over somebody saying, "Oh, this is copyrighted material. No, this is fair use." Well, the internet says it's fair use. The Fair Use Act says it's fair use. So, I mean, you could take most of my video, and as long as you add to or subtract from my videos, or anyone's videos for that matter, you are creating your own content. by the law of fair use, which is why so many of these movie channels, the ones that, they go and they copy the movie and then they put it up on their channel and they cut off 15 minutes of the front, 15 minutes of the back, and then put their own commentary in the front and the back, and they got the rest of the movie there. It's still a review channel. It's still a commentary channel. And it's a big thing, okay? This is why fair use makes such a big difference. Because one of these white stripes on this flag represents your freedom of speech. Fair use is an extension of freedom of speech. Where, since you are utilizing your opinion, your own creation, you are not infringing on another's right because it is not the same content. It's a beautiful thing. You could be, taking, every bit of this video that I've got right up to about 5 seconds from the end. And as long as you're talking over the video somewhat, it's still fair use. It's still legal for you to use this content, which is one of the beautiful things about our country, is that you have the ability to take things that other people have done and at the same time be able to compound on what they've done. That's one of the amazing things that makes our society so great. This trailer that I'm sitting in, it takes inventions from so many different people, so many different patents, and then puts it into one device, which is why this trailer is such a nice piece of technology. I mean, patents don't necessarily make things easier. They make it harder, which is precisely why I have never searched for a patent on any of my designs that I've written down or any of that. It's because I don't want for people to be saying, oh, well, we've got this copyright, this or this, that. Because personally, I don't give a fuck. Just so long as I get a certain amount of credit that somebody says, hey, this guy did this. This guy did something. And rather than, what everyone's sitting there yapping off and out the side of their neck like, oh, this guy doesn't work. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Excuse me. Every freaking day of my life, brother. And you better believe it. Just because I ain't earning a paycheck doesn't mean shit. What does mean shit is that I stand right here in front of this flag, not behind it. So maybe you might want to respect the freaking, because the reality is, I'm one part of this gigantic force that is the American people and the progenitors of the internet, which is why we as a global society now, and trust me, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm really big on keeping individual countries individual, because that cultural heritage, while it sometimes detracts from the overall society, on the whole, it adds to that society. So we can't actually say, oh, well, look at all this bad and forget about all the good. It doesn't work like that. The good is what makes every single little bit of the larger whole great. And that is why I believe in individual countries, okay? Not because I think that, oh, well, yeah, if we all just got under one banner, this world would go to shit in a handbasket. No. I think that might actually help a little bit as far as things like space exploration, devolving conflicts of a national scale. However, I can't honestly say that it would be good for our species, because our species has, from time immemorial, needed seclusion for different people. Different people have needed different people around them, and it's a big thing. It's not some small part of how this world works. You need to find your own group, and that's one of the major parts of the nation structure. Is you could find your own group. You don't necessarily have to be held down to where you were born. But if you were born in a place where you love it and it's great and you think, hey, I love this place. This is what I agree with politically speaking. Well, then this is where you should be as far as, the place is. You were born there. You like it. It's something you agree with. That's where you should stay. And if you were born in a shitty place, well, yes, go out and explore the other places of the world. If you find a group that's more of a nice, level-headed where you're at, then great. But if you find that your political leanings don't mesh with other people around the world, go back to where you came from and fix the problems there. Right? So, I'm trying not to make all of this into a big political discussion, but with me, politics just comes easy. It just flows. And the reality is that anybody with a half a brain cell can navigate the insanity that is American politics. You just have to know moral high ground, moral fiber. You have to have that. You can't walk into it and say, yeah, I believe in whatever the government says because the government's never wrong. Uh, yeah, I got nothing. Really, like if you're that stupid, I got nothing. It's pretty sad. It's so painfully sad. If you're that stupid, I can't. Beyond all that, when it comes down to it, if we could get what, happened with MXR Plays and Jukin Media to happen on a national level here in America, where we all band together and actually stand up for what the fuck we really need, which is our Constitution as it was described originally with the original Bill of Rights. Not all of this extra foo-foo crap. A Patriot Act and the freaking whatchamacallit, the new red flag law acts they're trying to pass in Congress, which I'm like, dude. My dad used to have something that he would do to us kids when we said something stupid. He'd walk right up to you like this, and he'd go, hold still. And if you were stupid enough to hold still, he'd freaking thump you hard right on the forehead, right there. Right there. Hold still. It was a mental exercise to kind of get you to understand, hey, fucker, stop holding still. You dumbass! React! Don't just fucking stand there. That's what his whole philosophy on life was, is if you're stupid enough to say something like that, then you're stupid enough to stand there. So I'm gonna do this until it hurts enough that you figure out, hey, maybe I shouldn't. I figured it out on the first thunk. But it's like, I want to walk up to these people with this look on my face, just hold still. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? How stupid can you be that you disregard every single one of those stars and every single one of those bars? Imagine 13 colonies, 13 of them. Guess how many were actually on fucking board? It wasn't all 13. At the beginning of the revolution, there were 5 colonies on board. 5. Count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 colonies stood up to a gigantic freaking empire that encompassed the globe. That is our history. So if 5 colonies, and then later 13, but first 5 colonies stood up to a freaking titan of economic power and overwhelming imperial will. Why can't it be that 3.6 billion American citizens can't pull their freaking dicks out of the vise long enough to turn around and say, no. Wait a minute, they already did. See, that's the funny part of this. They already did. Just from California to Virginia. Hey there, looking at you, Cam and Co. To all the way down south to Texas, Mr. Dakota, and all the way up north and them higher up northern parts. People are saying, you know what? No, we're done. You're done. There's the door. No, I don't want to hear it no more. There's the door. Don't let it hit you in the ass on the way out. Don't come back for seconds. I mean, I may have just like voiced it outright. What most people were thinking. Just because I speak simply and I think very complexly. I don't think that's a word. I think constantly. I speak simply. I try to get to the point, and then I try to hammer home that point. So, which is why, when it comes down to my videos, I'm a little bit cringy, but at the same time, I have a staunch stance that I would hope that Americans across our nation are not just willing, but feel a certain sense of national obligated pride to stand up and do. Consider this. My granddad took a fucking bullet in the leg. Saw hell unleashed from every angle. And when I say every angle, I mean every angle. The water, the trees were talking and shooting at him. One of those, oh, Jesus moments. And he sat his happy ass on a freaking anti-aircraft gun and lit the jungle up. He didn't run panicking. Ah, don't kill me. I'm only a construction worker. No. My granddad, Lieutenant Commander John J. Price Sr., walked, not ran, walked up to the anti-aircraft gun, calmly loaded a cage, put his hand on top of the cage and his other hand on the firing group, and proceeded to let go 30 millimeter rounds. Well, no, it wasn't 30 millimeter. It was a 50 cal. 50 caliber rounds sitting on a Ma Deuce. Just praying. Praying that everything he was fighting for back home wasn't going to shit. When he got back home, my granddad sat for the next 14 years sipping whiskey and smoking cigarettes and hating his life. Because he fought for a whole bunch of ingrateful fucking pissants. Imagine for a second. How must, the Marine Corps feel? How must the Army feel? If one man in the Navy felt like he had been betrayed by his own family. How must our servicemen and women feel when we go pulling stunts like this with juking media, saying, oh no, we own this, we own this, we own this. Just take from you because you owe us. I didn't fight for that. I know my granddad didn't fight for that. I know my dad didn't build fucking Tomahawk missiles for that. And, I am absolutely certain that the Founding Fathers did not write the Constitution for that. In fact, I think they wrote the Declaration of Independence because of shit exactly like that. So, well, that's just one more piece. Jukin, Virginia legislature, tyrants in our own freaking government here in Cali. Just perfect. If I have the chance and the ability to, I mean, not just the ability to, but the absolute chance to do it, if somebody would just look the other way and allow me to do it, I would make Gavin Newsom's skull fuck the ground because of what he's done to our country, but also what he's done to our state. He has neutered the California people and made it impossible for any of you, and I mean, because I don't consider myself one of you anymore. You crossed the line when you backed this son of a bitch. I mean, dude introduces how many gun control bills that directly negate, not just infringe, but negate the Second Amendment, which is the foundation for the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and every freaking right on the Bill of Rights and your freedom and the reason you're breathing today and not speaking with an English accent. Yeah. It all boils down to the Second Amendment. You have the right to keep and bear arms, to protect yourself and protect others. You have an obligation to stand to the defense of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is the people. American citizens. That's not American soil. God, some people are dumb. The reason why we have bases around the world is so that if somebody attacks us on our soil, they will feel the brunt of their foolish ass mistake the moment that they made the mistake. Not because we feel like we need to impart our will upon the world. And our politicians have forgotten that. Our chiefs of staff have forgotten that. And let me tell you something, and I know this for a fact because a lot of the things that Mr. Washington said about parties and presidents and rights and freedoms and how a man should carry himself, I am absolutely 100% on board with it. As in, if I were born in 1750 something, as I am now, it wouldn't just be, on a YouTube video rhetoric or, standing on a soapbox in the square going, "Hear ye, hear ye." Okay. I'm going to be very serious. I'd fuck all that bullshit. I'd have been one of the scariest motherfuckers you ever ran into in that day. Not because I'm an evil person or I see that, that's something that I need to do. Okay? I'd never want to go and be an evil person or be the angry, vengeful version of me that y'all get a small glimpse of as the Guardsmanom. You would not understand. Not in the slightest. I come from a very long line of warriors. And when I say a very long line, I'm talking we go back, son. My dad's side is the Native American, the Cherokee. You can kind of see it in my facial structure. My mom's side, well, Romans. What can I say? Romans, Germans, Scots, Welks. Yeah. I have a pretty fucking rich heritage. And one that basically denotes, hey, I've got only two functions in this world. One, a deterrent to tyranny. Because I am fucking excellent at it. Two, one hell of a distraction. I'm really, really, really good at that. So, y'all have a good one. I know I've rambled on good half hour on this, and I shouldn't have, but situation was I found out the good news about juking, and I was like, you know what? I mean, not juking, MXR plays, and I was like, you know what? I got to get on this. I got to say, hey, win. Uh, yeah, I've been through the shit, and I can tell you, I don't want for any kind of untoward war or any crap like civil war. You don't want for it. Not in our country. Not in any country, but definitely not in our country, because a civil war in our country would be the freaking bloodiest and shortest war you have ever seen. The ones who are avid gun owners like myself, we would be the victors. I hate saying it like that, but man, I want you to think about this for a second. Really think about it. The anybody who might be Antifa or whatever that might come across this video, I want you to I want you to take a very close and direct understanding of what I'm saying. And that is that those who stand against the American spirit and the American people do so at their own risk. Because if anyone out there, and I know there's a lot of them, okay, a lot of folks have the same amount of training as I do. I'm going to up the lights here real quick because, yeah, I have a issue with lighting in this place, and the sun is going down. Hold on a sec. Sorry, as I was saying, y'all don't want for it, because, and like I was saying, if even one person out there is as trained as I am in the effective use of a firearm or any other weapon out there, and I know there's a lot of us, all right, the militia community, the special forces community, the U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, United States Marine Corps, U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. National Guard. All of us together represent a good 50% of the American people. Funny enough, it's amazing how that actually plays out, but if you looked at it, we do. A good 50%, if not more. The armed forces are much more vast than even